Welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
Do the English think they're merry? I don't think the English, they don't think they're merry.
You've obviously never watched Little Britain. Britain, Britain, Britain. Okay, so here's the thing. Brett Silverstein sent us this.
Brett Silverstein, you magnificent bastard.
Now, Brett also happens to be a rep for this distillery.
Oh. How much did he pay us to give him a good review, Daniel?
$1 million.
Wait, where's my cut, you son of a...
I mean, $5.
Well,
I'll get you your $2.50 later.
honest question.
Yeah.
Will Brett get fired if we shit on his whiskey?
I hope not, because I haven't tasted it yet.
Because we may shit on your whiskey, Brett.
But I will tell you, every single person I respect who's reviewed this has spoken highly of it. It's 4-year-old whiskey, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll be the
now,
judge.
Here's what Brett says. Enter the second whiskey distillery from England that you will be imbibing. He's been watching the show.
Okay.
The English love their beer, and there's loads of barley to play with, so why not make some whiskey?
So he's a viewer.
Here's a few fun facts. We use 100% traditional floor malted barley sourced from the Cotswolds in England. Now, the Cotswolds in England is in between Birmingham and London, and it's a green sort of protected area. Think of it like a national park.
Yeah.
Right? With each release, we hope to enter the terroir domain, much like Brooklotic and Springbank, where what we are drinking is a product of the area. Now, here's a super cool thing. They have 2 people involved that are industry, highly regarded industry experts. You didn't pour me any whiskey?
You're running your damn mouth. I didn't think you could fit whiskey in there.
No, this is we're doing this out of order, but this is a story for you. Dr. Jim Swan and Dr. Harry Cockburn, or Coburn. Depends on how you pronounce it. So anyway, these are industry legends responsible for Bowmore.
Oh.
Responsible for a dozen distilleries that you've heard of in Scotland and respect.
I'm so familiar with this room. You said Bowmore, my eyes went bang.
Right over there. There's the Bowmore.
There's hundreds of whiskeys.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had these 2 guys helping them start their English distillery. That's pretty exciting. Jim Swan helped Cavalin, Killoman, Penderyn, the most recent distilleries, but he's done a lot more than that.
46%.
So what he let them do is let their fermentations run really long.
Non-chill filtered.
Which creates all kinds of esters and complicated things.
Non-chill filtered.
They're using Forsyth stills, which is the Scottish stills, and they named them Janice and Mary. They switch.
Man, this is rich.
They're doing a pretty serious heart cut.
The level of nuance and vibrance I'm getting, this is very Scotchy to me.
So the whiskey ages in an old rum basement in Liverpool for 33 months.
Super Scotchy.
And then 3 months prior to the bottling, they put together the 2 different casks. 1 red wine and 1 bourbon.
Which one?
70% red wine, 70% ex-bourbon.
Okay.
Or 30% ex-bourbon. And then they proof it down slightly. Here's what I will say. Brett, thank you. This is an unbelievably limited release, and we got the chance to try it.
Apples and butter, man.
And not a sample, a whole damn bottle.
Apples and butter. Come on.
Now, everyone I've seen review this says it's rounded and rich and fruity. For being so young, it punches above its weight, so to speak.
How young did you say?
4 years, I think.
4 years they get this? So this is the second English distillery?
That we've tasted. There might be more than one. Now we've had, there's several English distilleries, but doing whiskey, we had the English Whiskey Company.
The butter note reminds me of a really nice, rich Irish buttery note.
Damn it, I wish I hadn't tasted it before you said that. Hang on a second. You were not wrong.
Yeah.
Totally Irish.
Now the apples.
And that butter shortbread.
The apples, it's almost the apple note I get, like the red, rich, honey crisp apple I get from some nice bourbon.
Dude.
And then the maltiness, the caramel note is like some scotchiness.
Dude.
You're not fired.
Yeah, what have we tasted that's anywhere even near this at this age? Because Killoman is not this nuanced.
Well, and that's like one of the more impressive things.
Killoman's pretty
You said this was 4 years old.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
If anyone in America was coming out with this subtle, this rich and fruity, and this low barrel,
right? Well,
at 4 years old.
Here's the thing, though: 4 years old in England.
Yeah.
This isn't getting cooked with, you know.
That's true. That's why you can wait 4 years.
Well, yeah.
Used barrels
in England,
lower temperatures.
This is lower temperatures to even get this much richness
This is why Texas whiskey
From a-
definitely has a terroir.
from a cooler climate. What did you say?
Terroir that has a regional affectation on flavors.
Terroir?
Terroir.
Terroir?
Terrier. That's terroir. I'm guessing. So,
All day.
no, Texas is all heavy heat, and so you get things like Garrison and the Balcones, which is rich and dark and aggressive.
Yeah, we'll need about a dozen more of these.
Yeah, but just to be sure,
To make sure.
we want to make sure our first judgment,
We want to make sure it's
legitimate.
not a fluke.
and everyone knows the scientific number is 6.
Right.
And so
Between the two.
if you want to try things
Between the two of us.
it's 6 to be sure, Brett.
Right. Well, before I read the comments, do we have a policy on reps sending us stuff?
We don't have a real policy
Because it sounded like, he watches the show.
it happens, and when it does happen and we do it on the show, we tell you a rep sent us this.
Okay. And if it's bad, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Don't let your boss see the video. Pandem End. Ah, the sound of people eating. I really like the stories, but I had to mute when the chewing was on.
That's when we had the pretzels.
I know I have a problem. Oh, Daniel, no, it's called misophonia.
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 Now here's the thing about misophonia.
Misophonia.
You're gonna appreciate this.
Right.
Misophonia is a condition where people have psychological distress related to sound.
Wait, hold on. Come here. I got some. Come here.
No, I know where this is headed. This is so gross. Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's, you ever been sitting at a table with someone, you can just hear them chewing from across the table,
Yeah.
and you just want to beat the shit out of them? That's misophonia, right?
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of the spectrum, here's the brutal reality. It is not a industry recognized condition at all.
Okay.
There is no scientific diagnosis, which means it is 100% self-diagnosed. So it's a medical condition that is not recognized by the medical community and is self-diagnosed. So it exists in the same category as crystals curing you of cancer.
Now you're gonna piss off the crystal crowd.
If I'm sitting in class and someone next to me opens up a chip bag,
Right.
that I get up and leave. Because I cannot handle someone do this crackle, 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 crunch, crunch, crunch while I'm trying to listen to someone talk. Now here's what I will say. Would you classify fingernails on a chalkboard as uncomfortable sounding to you?
Sure.
Right?
That's uncomfortable too.
That's misophonia.
Okay.
So is it real? I think so. Does it reach the level of clinical diagnosis? Not according to the medical community.
Adam Winborg.
But I get it.
Hey Rex, I recently found out that I'm gonna be a dad. Do you guys have any suggestions for a good dad whiskey?
Oh, we already addressed this.
And also, are there any whiskeys that pair well with the smell of diapers? Regards. He just wants something as strong
Although
and robust as
Springbank
possible.
does sort of smell like burnt or wet Band-Aids. So that's like wet rubber. That's about as close as you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the strongest, most viscerally hardcore whiskey you can fill the air with.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Stabs McGee. What is your take on the Infinity Barrel? Ooh. A waste of good last drops of whiskey, or is it a must-have for the whiskey aficionado?
I think neither. Those are two extremes I'm not buying into. I think it's a great idea, and I regularly do it with leftover containers of alcohol at my house. I haven't done it yet in the vault, because usually when we get down to the last drops, we pour it for somebody and they drink it. So we don't normally have a situation where an infinity bottle, unless I go out of my way to take remainders and pour them into something. But I think it's a super cool idea to do at home. One thing that surprised us was we sort of thought if you poured together a whole bunch of good whiskeys, you might end up with something really weird. And the reality is, if you pour together a whole bunch of good whiskey, usually you end up with another good whiskey.
I brought ice.
Oh, you brought ice.
But we...
Which reminds me, let's try some water in this thing.
Yeah, the ice kind of melted.
Why did it melt, Rex? Where did you put this ice that you brought into the vault?
One, you don't have any, cups laying around.
Yeah.
And this is what I did. I was so respectful. I didn't open up the bag of ice in the freezer.
Okay.
I just pulled out a piece of random ice that was in the bottom of the freezer.
And stuck it on there.
And then stuck it on here. And
then you stuck it in the sun-filled window. Because that seems like a great idea.
You want some ice?
No. Yes. That was the only correct maneuver to do right there.
You son of a bitch. The nipple's so cold.
A little water added.
It's not a tremendous difference.
No, it's really not.
Mm-mm.
And they're bottling at
46.
46.
Mm-hmm. I think I imagine cinnamon.
This may be younger than 4.
I think I imagine cinnamon really easily. It's one of those things where if I think about it, then oh yeah, I find cinnamon. But I don't know. Or do you find any cinnamon in there? No cinnamon? Mm.
It got smoother even.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Now, here's what I would not do. This is not going to meet your needs if you're a heavily peated kind of, But
These are
hot damn if these isn't
friendly flavors, not weak flavors, though.
But this could hold its own in any single malt tasting, period.
Yeah.
And would probably come out in the top 3. All right, here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight, may you fight for friends.
If you steal, may you steal a lover's heart.
If you drink, may you drink with us.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us in the Whiskey Vault. Don't forget to throw in a like, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, drop a question or comment down below.